Hey guys, right back here. It's been a while since I've been in front of the camera, most of it doing fucking gameplay videos, so today we're going to be going through something that I have built and actually properly gamed, which is my Ares Ameboa Striker AS02 thing. Let's get into it. You can see it is different to your traditional AS02 in terms of externals, and then internally she's done up a bit. So starting from the tip, we have the usual muzzle cap. I'm waiting to get a 14mm counterclockwise adapter, so that way I can add a tracer unit because I want to be using this at night games. I have a hit rail at the 9 o'clock position for my torch, or for pec box, same thing again if doing a night game. The front rail here I've kept clear for my scope cam, so that way I have a decent enough view, and when you're looking through, when you're seeing the footage, you're not seeing the muzzle or the end of the rail. I've added these khaki shock cords throughout the rail. This serves kind of a twofold, threefold purpose. So one of the reasons is I have a micro battery pack that just slots in kind of between the rail and kind of one of these side panels. That way it's held in place and I can charge my camera throughout the day as I'm recording. 2, I can put natural veg in it. If you saw from my Inferno video, you would see some vegetation on the rail of my rifle. It'll help break up the silhouette, help break up its entire form factor. Like, it's camied, but this also helps. And thirdly, it also adds a little bit of friction, kind of, especially when you're using gloves, so you can kind of hold on to it properly. I did have a forward grip on here. I didn't really like it, didn't like having an AFG on it. Same thing again, I've got a rubber band here just for veg and just for security of that. Now, behind all the elastics, we have a Invader Gear 2-point sling in olive green. Very simple sling, more so just for carrying rather than using it in game. I have it in a short enough configuration, so if you put it on, like, it's grand for shouldering, but you can't really use it left-handed. So it's more for carrying than actually using it in game over long periods. Further on back from that is my usual fucking trope of a short dot. This is my Victor Optics short dot with 2 medium 30mm scope mounts, and they have a bubble level in the back, which is very important for bolt action. I've covered this with some burlap and some jute and some Rafifa, just to break up the silhouette. The front of the optic as well has a honeycomb flash hider to mitigate BB strikes and to mitigate flash from the sunlight and stuff. Standard bolt handle, I've swapped it out the magazine. Instead of it has a medium length one, these are the short ones. Hold 40 rounds, I've got 3 of them. They're great, they're a bit sleeker and a bit tidier looking, especially with this build. Just further on, standard bolt handle, and then I have a bit of tape and a rubber band. The reason behind the tape and the rubber band is the rubber band is where I will put my cheek for my eye relief, so that way I have a consistent placement, and then the duct tape is kind of the same thing. That way, if I just go down quickly, I can feel that rubbing against my face. It's a rudimentary system, but I saw, actually, one of my old guitar teachers, he had tape around the a part of his guitar where he wanted his wrist to rub off it when he was doing tremolo picking properly, so I kind of stole that from him. Thank you, Mr. Coyne. So that's the externals. Externally very simple, very simple, very tidy. With a cami job, it's not a pattern per se. As you can see, it's more of just lines and splotches. I tried doing CAD pat like I did with my MWS. It didn't work out as well as I liked. It didn't look as tidy, so I just did a a line job on this, and I'm actually pretty happy with it. So this has been the external bit. It's all compression parts that I've upgraded, and the spring. So the inner barrel is a 300mm Action Army inner barrel. It's a GBB one, it's a 6.01, so it comes just to the end of the cap here. I've made barrel spacers for it out of duct tape, just ran it around the barrel in 3 places, so that way you got nice stabilization and kind of less vibrations. The hop-up unit is the stock one. As far as I know, the Action Army one isn't the best, especially for the AS02s, so I opted to stay with the standard hop-up unit. But the hop-up arm is a maple leaf. It's the B type, so it's quite a large contact surface. Paired that with a maple leaf super hop rubber, or Mr. Hop rubber, the one that's like an R-hop patch. Paired, especially with the TDC hop-up, it is phenomenal. This thing can lift 3 2s and fire them fairly straight and fairly far. The spring is actually a cut down M125. It is an ultimate M125, the one with the orange tip on it. With the standard M90 that I had in this, I was getting maybe 0.7 of a joule. I kept having to go up in spring pressure, but I decided to buy the heavier duty one and cut it down coil by coil to get it at the FPS that I wanted, which is sub 1 joule with a 0.32 gram BB. The ball pull is fairly light considering the weight of the spring, and this does take AEG springs as well, so it's a handy one. So fairly internally, she's fairly simple. She's very, very, very simply done. This comes with 90-degree sears. This comes with, you know, kind of beefy enough parts than the predecessors before it. So I'm happy enough just to do the compression parts, kind of the meat and potatoes on the inside of the gun. The usage of this rifle, as I said at the start, it's more of a scout configuration rather than a full-on heavy-duty sniper, as I tend to be quite a bit more mobile. When I first got this rifle, I was actually running it with a red dot, and I got a lot of fucking shit for that, so I decided to go back with my short dot so I can go from 1 times to 4 times with no bother. It's fairly lightweight. You know, in total I've got 3 of these short mags, I've got 2 of the long ones, so that is quite a lot of ammunition, especially for bolt action. You don't need much more apart from that, in my opinion. With that, I can pair this with my ghillie suit, or I can pair it with my assaulter's kit. All of my magazine pouches are interchangeable enough that I can put these into my assaulter's kit and I can just rock it with my plate carrier, my battle belt and my helmet and go, or I could do it with my more recce kit, chest rig, magazines in pouches, then no battle belt, pistol in the chest rig, ghillie suit on, boonie hat, cami dub, all that good stuff. So it is a dual purpose rifle really. She's small enough, she's about the size of a carbine M4, so transportation's easy, it's not that heavy, it's mostly a polymer rifle, bar the rail and the receiver, and the body is mostly plastic, including the magazines. So this rifle is kind of a love child between, bridging the gap between what I'd say proper sniper rifle and a DMR. The guy who I mainly run with, who uses a sniper rifle, he's got a more upgraded version of a striker. He's got the AS01. It's HB8, very nice, very nice. So I will use this in conjunction with him, or if I was at a milsim op, I would use this if they needed more of a lerp or recce type role. So it's all, again, mission dependent. And I'd rather have a bolt action in my collection because there's a lot less to go wrong with bolt actions than AEGs and GBBs. So that's kind of my opinion on it. Now, it's very simply built, very, you know, I haven't poured a ton of money into this and I fucking love it. Bar my original kneecapper, love that rifle. But this is a close second to my original kneecapper. So, this has been my AS02, also known as KRYSTAL, KRYSTAL, You don't know if it's the name of a girl or the name of crystal meth. You decide.